Alright, in this video we're checking out the iSDT Q8 Smart Charger. This is an updated charger similar to the Q6 Plus that I reviewed a while back. I'll link that down in the description. There's a few new features in this one. Obviously, they've upgraded it. So the 8 stands for basically the up to 8S on the balance lead here, whereas the 6 is on up to 6S on the balance lead, and higher numbers. So you have maximum output power of 500 watts and 20 amps on the Q8, and I think the Q6, yeah, it's 300 watts and 14 amps on the Q6, so a little bit more capable. This also has the BattGo technology. See that extra pin there on the XT60? That is a data pin, and for certain batteries have a chip on the connector. You can get additional data on the battery itself. I don't have any of those type of batteries. It's a special kind of battery I have to get. It's called a BattGo battery, so I can't demonstrate that feature, but this charger does have the capability of reading that data from that chip and providing you more information on the battery itself. But yeah, the charger here looks a little different. It's, square and not angled like before. They have updated the firmware update port to microusb instead of the audio jack on the Q6, which was kind of a pain. XT60 input, you got a fan in the back there, nothing on the bottom. You get your 8S balance port XT60 on this side, and you got basically touch buttons here. They're kind of going to that versus the scroll wheel design before, and the screen is a little bit different, similar size, just a tiny bit different. And they have added a new function called destroy on here. I'll show you that. That's the thing that's the most different about this one. Alright, so turn it on here, and you can see you have our individual voltages for each cell. If you have a 8-cell battery plugged in, if you long press the center button, it goes into the system settings. So here you can adjust your lowest input voltage. That's so you don't kill the battery if you're using an external battery to supply power to charge up smaller batteries. Max input power, you can adjust all that. Highlight. It's pretty similar to features from before. Do self-test, calibration, and then this is the BattGo technology. If you go in here, and there's nothing connected, so you can't get any information on that. That's what I thought. And then under system info, it should show you the current firmware. So if your firmware is outdated, you can go to their website and download updated firmware and use the microusb port to upgrade. But I think this is the latest version. This thing just came out. Go ahead and exit. When you get to the charge menu, just tap the center button here. You have all these functions. You have charge, discharge, storage, DC power, and destroy. So I think these are the two that aren't on the Q6. So you can use this as basically like a transformer. So you can take whatever voltage is coming in from here, this battery or a power supply, and then output power from this plug here as a certain number of volts and amps as a DC power supply. So if you want to use that as a specialty function, you can do that with this charger. And then the destroy function here, basically whatever is plugged in here, it will just discharge the battery completely to 0 volts. So I think on previous chargers you could just discharge it to like 3 volts, but now you can go all the way to 0 volts and kill the battery off. So this is a new function. Now under chemistry, I think these are all the same as before. You have lithium high voltage, lithium polymer, lithium ion, LiFe, lead, and nickel metal hydride. Now what's interesting is on lithium high voltage, it'll only go up to 7S, not 8S, whereas LiPo and lithium ion will go up to 8S. So I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. There was no explanation about that. Maybe something about lithium high voltage batteries can't go to 8S, or they don't not available. I'm not sure, but just wanted to point that out, that it does not do 8S on if you have a lithium high voltage battery. Okay, so under condition, yeah, basically this is just the end voltage, so 4.2, and you can adjust it up or down. Just leave that as standard, and then you can adjust the cells, but it'll auto detect that whatever's plugged in, as well as you can set your current here. So let me just demonstrate a quick charge of this battery. Here's a small 3-cell. Plug this in here. Plug in the balance over here, and we get our battery voltages for each cell, and we would charge, and then auto detect says 3 cell, and I'm not going to do 8 amps on this little battery. I'm going to bring that down. To 1/2 amp, and let's hit start. So this is pretty standard. This is what the screen looks like on all the other chargers. It gives you the charging time, amps, milliamps going in, and the actual percentage of the battery that's full. So it's 75% full currently, and then it gives you the individual voltages. Now it also should at some point give you the internal resistance, but I think it takes some time. Oh, there it goes. It takes a little bit of time, and then it'll show up here. This is a pretty crappy test battery that I use on the bench only. You can see the internal resistance is pretty high for all 3 cells, but you can use this to see if you have a battery. It has like maybe one cell that's bad, so if they're not all pretty close to each other, then you know that that battery is probably no good. Say for example, if like these are 41 and then this one, say instead of 39 it was at like say 150, then you know that that one cell is probably damaged or some way. This is one way to check with this charger. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop that. I'm just curious what the destroy function actually looks like. I'm not going to run it all the way down to nothing, but let's see what that does. So it basically says go down to 0 volts, or I guess you could adjust that up or down if you don't want it to be, well, nope. On this mode it's only 0, 3 cells, and then discharge current of 1/2 amp. I believe that also the discharge amp or watts on this charger is also higher. It's like 15 watts, which is much higher than on the Q6. So you can discharge batteries and bring things to storage charge a lot faster with this charger. But let's just see what this screen looks like, because I haven't seen this before. It says, do you want to destroy it? Sure. And it will start discharging the battery. Let's go ahead and stop that. I don't want to actually destroy it, but that's what it looks like. Basically it just does a discharge, but it just goes all the way to 0 volts. The screen looks pretty much the same. Alright, so I just wanted to confirm what I read earlier. This is the product specs, and the max discharging power is 15 watts, which is considerably higher. I believe the max discharge watts on the Q6 is like 5 or 7 watts, something like maybe about half. So all these numbers are a lot higher on the obviously newer upgraded charger here. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys are interested in checking out this charger, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check it out. Probably not going to be using the Q6 anymore, and me giving this away to probably one of my lucky patrons. So if you guys want to join up my Patreon, as a link down in the description, I would appreciate it if you were interested in helping out the channel. That's one way to help out the channel and support the channel. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.